Jilly, may I start by extending my congratulations to you, because it was announced earlier on in the week that at this year's Bord Gáis Energy Book Awards you're going to be the recipient of the International Recognition Award. Do awards like this still mean something to you?
Oh, I just burst into tears when I heard. I was so pleased, particularly Ireland. I love Ireland so much, and Ireland is the country of writers, isn't it? To get, just at my age, get a prize like this, I was knocked out, absolutely knocked out, thrilled.
Can I ask, Jilly, in terms of 40 books in, and you have written many different genres, what's your favourite type of book to write?
I love journalism. And really, in the books, I've sort of combined, the big novels, I've combined journalism because I rush off around the world and interview people and really sort of do the journalistic background. But I always think about children's books, because I suddenly was in hospital recently, and a lot of seagulls outside, and everybody was shouting at them, and I wanted to write a book called Britain's Got Talents, and this would be a seagulls winning the singing award, because they're so sad, seagulls, and they need a bit of publicity and kindness.
In terms of Rupert Campbell Black,
yeah,
we must talk about Mount now. All in the name of research, I've been spending the week reading your latest novel, and it's fantastic. Why do you think he struck such a chord with your readers?
I think people quite like. I mean, I don't think anybody would really like him in real, like somebody who would mess around like that in real life, because he's very rude to people, very arrogant. He's very good looking, and he has good qualities. He loves animals, and he loves his wife, his Irish wife, and he's very successful.
You have to dig deep to find the good points, though. I mean,
yeah,
he's a fairly vacuous guy.
And also, I'm terribly unpolitically correct. I always want to say awful things about everything all the time, and I can use Rupert to do it.
He's a vehicle for your un-PC mind.
Exactly.
I think that's great.
No, but I love him, and I think he's got 2 adopted children, like I have. He's got one of his own, but he's got 2 of his own, but he's also got 2 adopted children. And that was very like, I could put all what happened in adopting our children into the book.
Really? So parts of the book, although it's so far removed from, I suppose, the normal life we lead, parts of it are semi-autobiographical. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, and I think the last book, because my darling Leo died in the middle of writing it, there's a heroine's a carer, and we had lots of carers living in the house, from Zimbabwe and South Africa. And they were so brave and so good, and they became one of the heroines in the book. And so I think writers just pick around what's around. We're so lucky that something awful happens, and we can sort of capitalise on it in a sort of awful sort of way.
When the mini-series of Riders was aired some years ago, and it was hugely successful, was it difficult for you to sort of relinquish control in a way, because Rupert Campbell Black was a character in your head, as were the others, and then trying to find the perfect match that would translate onto the camera must have been worrying, I suppose.
I think it's very difficult. I think it's like somebody else dressing your grandchildren, or your children. Do you know what I mean? It is difficult, because I have my idea of Rupert and Helen.
Would you have more control if you were to go down the route of TV again? Would you?
I don't. I think you've got to back off. You know?
But it's your baby.
I know it's my baby, but I just think it is difficult. Like riders, I mean, I remember going to Lightsbridge Barracks. They did it so seriously. They all went to show jump, all these people. And Marcus Gilbert, who played Rupert, I said, "Oh, how lovely! You're so beautiful. It's so lovely having somebody beautiful playing Rupert." He said, "You're very gracious." And I thought, no, I'm not sure that Rupert would say that.
Rupert wouldn't say that. He'd say, "I know. I am beautiful." Why is it that there are so many beautiful, well-written books that aren't successful commercially?
I don't know. I mean, very, very bad luck. Because everybody thinks, ever since 50 Shades, everybody thinks they can write a book now, don't they? I mean, every day I get people writing to me saying, "Jilly, I've written a book. Will you read it? Will you find a publisher for me? Will you find an agent for me? Will you help me write it?" And I just want to say, go away. I mean, I know I can see everybody needs help, but there are brilliant books around.
In a way, it might be easier now to get a book published, because you can publish yourself. When you had your first book published, that wasn't possible.
No, it wasn't. No, I was rang up by a friend of Leo's and said, "Jilly, would you like to write a book about how to stay married?" And I thought, just like my prize, I thought somebody's asked me to write a book, and I was so excited. And we're 7 years married, and it's such a silly book. I mean, it's got good bits, but it says things like, "If you amuse a man in bed, you won't mind about the mountain of dust underneath."
You probably wouldn't. It's probably a very good point. I'm 7 years married last week, so I need to read that book.
How are you getting on?
Well, I'll read the book and tell you.
There's a good chapter on mother-in-laws. It's one line. It says, "Marry an orphan."
You were way before your time. How was that received when it came out as a matter of interest?
I think yes, it did all right, but it was just a sweet little book, and there was a picture of me and Leah on the front, Leah looking very handsome, back to back, and it did all right.
Your sense of humour is fantastic. And what do you write on? Do you have a laptop?
I have a Monica. Monica is an Olympia. It's an Olympia typewriter. It hasn't even electricity. It has a space bar attached, a pair of scissors which I cut and paste with. And it's called Monica because I bought it because I needed a new typewriter to go to the Tory Party conference in 1982. And the typist was called Monica because it had a plaque on the side saying Monica. So I thought the perfect name for a Tory Party conference, Monica. And so I took her there, and I mean I've done every book since, Rivals, Riders, all of them.
How would you feel if Monica was no more?
I would be distraught.
Would you?
Like the Irish Greyhound. I've got an Irish Greyhound from County Offaly. Isn't that brilliant?
What's his name or her name?
She's called Bluebell. I have one called Feather, both from County Offaly. Have you got a dog?
I do. I have a Chihuahua called Minnie because she looked like a mouse when I got her.
Looked big.
I got her on my second date with my husband, so she came first.
Are you in love with her?
Her or him?
No, both.
Yeah, they're both fabulous. They look alike, sadly. Actually, when you're writing and you're writing an amusing paragraph, do you laugh out loud? I mean, do you chuckle?
I always, very boringly, compared writing to wading through a huge river, and occasionally you come to a stepping stone, which is a funny bit, and then you do laugh.
What is relaxation to you?
Well, I used to walk around the Gloucester countryside. Yes, I did. I had a hip operation, so I haven't been doing too much. I walk and I read a lot of poetry, and have a lovely time. My children live both very near, so I have a lovely time with them and my grandchildren. And I have lots of friends come over and sort of have jolly evenings.
Your grandchildren are going to grow up thinking their grandma was the coolest grandma in town.
No, I don't know about that. They're very funny. They're lovely grandchildren. They love it. Jago said to his mother he was going to give his mother a wine stopper for Christmas because she drank too much.
How old is he?
He's about 7 or 8.
Fantastic. Well, I hope to see you again in November when you're back.
Yes,
Thank you so much. Pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.